New podcast, Sprint Ride Option podcast. Said the same word twice in the first 4 words. Starting off great. I am Andrew Pasquini. Jason Aponte to my right. We are part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. A lot of things going on in the world of sports. Coors Field sucks. Giancarlo Stanton has earned his pinstripes. The Niners just handing out Nick Mullins' number like it's nothing. Because Emmanuel Mosley, he made the switch to number 4. I thought we were retiring it, but it's still out there. As Emmanuel Mosley makes the switch. I don't know. I guess we'll start there real quick because it's a mailbag episode. We're going to answer questions. People get really annoyed by the number changes, so I just want to announce them all because I love them all. Give me all the low numbers. I don't care.
People are really upset about this, honestly, and I think that I'm glad that they're upset about this because there's other things that they could be upset about, and this seems minor, but people really don't like it. Yeah. Some people are just completely against it, like straight up like old man yelling at a cloud type.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same people you and I talk a lot of baseball, so you'll get this. It's when the people were like, why do they have to wear the Nike logo on the front of the jersey? It's like, come on, what? Dude, so Debo Samuel, listen, I know you watch the podcast, so you listen, huge listener. Thank you, Debo. We appreciate it. Switch to number 1 because it just looks cool.
But yeah, right, because Lance is 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the question that I was going to tell you is that, those people that were upset about the Nike logo, you would have thought that they were going to change the team logo to the size of the Nike logo and not have the little I
hate the Nike logo, man. Yeah. Get it off my jersey. It's like, man, I hate the advertisements on my NBA jersey. It's like, why do you care? You're going to I don't watch Stephen Curry to watch the Rakuten sponsor on the now we're just advertising companies at this point. But yeah, no, so anytime there's a jersey number that make people go, wow, that hurts. Why? I'm just gonna endorse it. Like Emmanuel Mosley, you go wear number 4. Wear number 4. Jason,
if it makes you play better, I don't care.
Wear number 2. Let's go. I don't care. It's fun. And it's enjoyable. Hey, Jason, I have a lot of tweets in front of me that they were questions. Jimmy Randazzo, how you doing? Quick question. Giancarlo, has he earned his pinstripes? I would say yes. I got a lot of tweets. For some reason, a lot of people asked us questions today. Maybe because we told them we would answer them on the podcast. So do you want to start? Do we just want to dive in? Because I feel like we got a lot. I didn't expect, this is the power of Jason Aponte. So I text him. I'm like, hey, do you just want to do a mailbag? I'll send the tweet out. And Jason Aponte's like, yeah, let's do it. And then I just forget to send the tweet out. So last night at 10:30, I'm like, oh no, I'm garbage. Jason's going to be mad at me. I need to send this tweet out. So I scheduled it for 7 a.m., right? So from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m., nobody responded. And I'm like, damn it. This is embarrassing. And then Jason retweets it. And all of a sudden my phone just question. And I'm like, that's why Jason's here. Even though he didn't want to talk today, which scares me. I don't know why. I want to hear your voice. So this is why I do that. I just like to hear your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just joking around with that. Of course, we're going to join the pod so I can talk. Yeah.
Adam Wolfgang asked, I'd be interested in discussion on both sides of the start Lance right away story.
Okay.
So we'll start there because I feel like that's a hot topic. Jason, do you want to take the start Jimmy side or you want to take the start Lance side? I'll take the start Jimmy side. You take the start Lance side.
Okay, cool.
That works.
Yeah. So, I tweeted out a chart set that Mike Clay from ESPN actually put together of highly drafted quarterbacks, right? 1, 2, 3. I think it's all the way to about pick 12 and how quickly they actually took over the job. Some, like Jared Goff was pick number 1, didn't start playing until week 11. Some like Sam Darnold, Kyler Murray, Andrew Luck, they played right away. So the context of all those things are that most of the time when you're drafted that high, you're drafted to a bad team that doesn't have a quarterback, so you do have to play. Not always the case when it came to all of these guys, right? So I think that's what makes it a little bit different when you talk about Lance. It's not really apples to apples when you talk about the argument, but I'm here to make the argument for a trade to start. Here's my thing, and this is the thing that's kind of been baffling to me. For everybody's complaint about Trey doesn't have enough reps, Trey needs reps. Sitting him again? That's your remedy? And then to hear today Jed York say he's comfortable with him sitting for 2 years? That's your remedy? You want to get the man reps and you want him to get experience by sitting? I really don't understand that one. Okay. And when you invest what you invest in a guy like that, play him, get him going. Again, we understand that, there was a little clip that I put out today. Michael Giardi from NFL Network said, seems like Lance is picking up the playbook quicker than people would have thought, and honestly, that's one of the things, probably the deciding factor in what got Trey Lance, to be the guy the entire time, calling out his protections in the pro style offense. The kid is smart. I think that, and another thing that Kyle talked about is he rarely goes to the wrong place with the ball. And all of those things start to lend itself to, Kyle's going to, the way they built this roster was they want to run the ball 45, 50 times. Mm-hmm. They're not going to ask Trey Lance to drop back right away. So Trey Lance, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, as long as he sees the right things, Giancarlo Stanton doubles, Yankees are now tied. So
in strikes.
Yes. So with all of those things, honestly, I think that he should be the starter. And I don't see why you would take somebody that high and invest the capital in him if you weren't going to start him.
So the pro to starting Jimmy week 1 is look how good Patrick Mahomes is, right? That was all Alex. No, I'm joking. It's to me, I want to preface this first so nobody yells at me and Andrew's like, hey, like Andrew wants Jimmy to start. No, I think I really like who said it in the chat, Jesse Rodriguez. Training camp battle, whoever the better quarterback is, start him. I think that's the best way to go about it. But I'm on the side of Jimmy Garoppolo here. I hate this argument so much so, but I'm going to use it because I'm in the pro Jimmy side. He started in a Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? He's shown he can get there. Now, whether or not that can happen again, that's another story. He has shown he is good enough to get to that point. He wasn't healthy last year, and I'm not a big fan of quarterbacks losing their job due to health, and I know there's a whole argument that can be made that Jimmy would be losing his job because of poor play, and I understand that. I'm just going to go on the side of maybe he wasn't healthy. Maybe the ankle was more serious than what we were told, and he wasn't ready for the Seattle game, even though he played well against the Rams and the Patriots the week before. Maybe it's the injury. You can't. I mean, you can, but in my mind, you cannot lose a starting job because of injury. We really don't know what if 2019 was a mirage, or not a mirage, but like the peak of what Garoppolo is, or if that's actually what he is, and can he get better? So yes, I understand the whole argument of Trey Lance, all the draft picks, but if you have a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo who has shown he can be good and take this team to the Super Bowl, why move off it? Why move off of that after a year where he was hurt majority of the year? Let's see if he can get another healthy season and see what happens. And I know this argument was just Jimmy Garoppolo starting week 1. And I'm going to use your argument against you. Trey Lance only played 18 college games or whatever it was. And he's 20. There's plenty of time to mold him into what Kyle Shanahan wants him to be, whether or not it's on the field or whether or not it's the starting quarterback. And yes, Raymond, that's the point. Alex Smith lost his job because of injury, and that blows this whole thing up. Give Trey Lance time underneath to understand the offensive system fully before we get him out there. Let Jimmy have the start of the season. See what happens. Maybe he returns to 2019 form. And I think it could be too early to start Trey Lance, especially at 20, because he's only going to get better at this point. So why rush him? Give him time. Let him marinate a little bit. You don't put the chicken in the oven right away. You let it sit a little bit. That's my comparison. That's my argument on it. I don't agree with it, but I took the Jimmy side of this, so that's going to be my pick. So.
No, and I agree with a lot of what you said, honestly, too. And, when you start to look at this team and you realize what this roster looks like, Jimmy Garoppolo healthy for 16 games, 17 games, what have you, this team is going to be a force to reckon with. So I get that part as well, too. When I take this side of the argument, it's more about, okay, what you invested in Trey. Also, how much money can you save? How much money can you save by, making a move to move Jimmy Garoppolo somewhere or something like that? And the thing is if there is a training camp battle and Trey outduels him, because we know Jimmy Garoppolo is not a good practice player, he's a gamer. If the buzz out of camp starts to become that Trey's dusting him, then you lose any sort of trade value with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's what I'm talking about more than anything. And again, I hate to keep saying the same things over and over, but if he struggles, if he gets hurt again, then his trade value is zero. Starting quarterbacks are valuable in this league, and his trade value is the highest right now. So what you would do is you would move Jimmy to whoever it is if you could, and then maybe bring in somebody like a Minshew or something like that to sit, behind, just so you have some sort of insurance.
Yeah, and I was going to make a point and I totally forgot it. Good points, Jason. Congratulations. You stumped me. I forgot what I was going to say.
No, it's not that. It happens to me all the time. It's that you didn't get stumped.
So there's like kind of the argument that we would make for both sides. As I said, I think Trey Lance. Oh, I remember the point I was going to make. You talk about like the practice stuff and all that. Like that's something I've been saying. Like, what if the first preseason game where we physically can see? Because like all the practice stuff is hearsay, right? It depends how the beat writer you're following or the blogger you're following kind of takes it and reading it. Everybody gets to see the first preseason game. And what if Jimmy Garoppolo comes out in his first couple of drives, looks kind of average, misses a throw, and then Trey Lance comes in? Now all of a sudden you're getting Trey Lance comes in and dominates for his time. Now all of a sudden the fan base sees it, right? And now it's gonna be kind of like the anti-Mac Jones stuff, right? It started as whispers like, well, it's Justin Fields or Trey Lance at 3, and then the rumors of Mac Jones and the fan base, which did not change the opinion of the 49ers brass. Let's just say that. It was always Trey Lance. The fan base didn't magically change it. The fan base started being, hey, wait, whoa, Mac Jones? Are we really like, no, Mac Jones?
No, we did our job, honestly. We get the W. We did our job.
Oh, we get the W. So with the third pick, the 49ers Twitter selects Trey Lance. If it was my pick, it would have been Kyle Pitts, though. So I don't know if I believe you. So the next, we're going to move on because if we spend 5 minutes on each question, we're going to be here a while. At Everett Days asks, I've been pondering this a lot lately. Does the current locker room, not including the rookies, both drafted and undrafted, quote unquote, like Kyle or Jimmy more after the way the draft went down? By like, I mean more willingness to play for. I mean, for me, I just like they're professionals. Kyle Shanahan hasn't done anything to lose the locker room. I think the Niners have handled this perfectly. The whole Garoppolo thing, haven't given an answer either way. But when they do say public things like, listen, Jimmy's our guy until he's not, I think they're playing it right. So I don't see how anything in the draft process could have cost Shanahan or Jimmy the support in the locker room.
Yeah, no, and honestly, man, I wanna say kudos to Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been saying all the right things, doing all the right things in public, and it's not the same because Tom didn't act like that when he got there. He felt very threatened. I think Jimmy understands that situation, and right now he's trying to do his best to ease the situation over. So I have to give him, major props for being professional throughout this whole thing. Can't be easy to know that they drafted your replacement after 3 straight years of them trying to move off of you, So, I mean, it's just. These guys are professionals. They understand. I think you heard what Mike McGlinchey said. Like, listen, if Jimmy's the guy, like, they're going to roll with it, and remember, the first taste of success for a lot of these players happened with Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of them are going to be tied to that, and they're going to say Jimmy's our guy because of 2019. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, that this team is going to bust their, behinds for whoever is under center. So, but I don't suspect that would be a problem at all.
At early in the game, asked, will any of our running backs that won't be in the final roster be safe in the practice squad? You got 49ers 2.0. Oh, okay, sorry, I was confused by it. You got the second version of the 49ers and the Jets lurking and always the Seahawks. I'll let you take this one first because I think I have an idea for the running back, but I want to see what you say before I commit to my idea.
Oh, so are we talking about final predictions, or are we talking about like who can we stash on the practice squad without them being taken?
I think we can take it both ways because I think they're mainly asking like what running backs could we stash and be fine with.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of is an answer for both sides. We could talk about which ones would go to the practice squad, which would leave who's on the starter.
So I think that Hasty will try to be stashed on the practice squad, and I think that Elijah Mitchell for a little while will be on the practice squad as well. That one is going to be a lot harder to stash because he was drafted, and his skill set is pretty impressive, honestly. I think it was Scott McLaughlin today came out and said that he thought that, it wasn't Elijah Mitchell. Somebody said that today Elijah Mitchell could be the absolute steal of the draft, and I don't doubt it. If you're asking me who's the odd man out and probably gets cut, it's probably going to be Wayne Gallman, as solid as he is. So the thing is with Gallman is is that none of his money is guaranteed right now. So he signed his deal, but unfortunately, Gallman is probably the odd man out when it comes to Sermon, Wilson, Mostert. So it's going to be a 3-back rotation on game day with 2 on the squad. So if the 2 on the squad are probably going to be Hasty and Elijah Mitchell. I don't think Austin Walter makes his team, honestly. It's too crowded, and I don't think he's as skilled as those guys. And I think that they really like Hasty, and they want to see what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if I had to pick the 4 running backs that are going to be on the roster, not include, because the Niners usually carry 5, I believe, right, including Juszczyk, because we count Juszczyk as a running back. I would probably say the 4 would be Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, and Trey Sermon. I think Hasty goes to the practice squad, and I don't know if the rules. I don't know if we've had any clarification on the rules. If they're allowed to have veterans on the practice squad, I could see them trying to put Wayne Gallman there. But I really think the most likely thing is either move off of him or cut him. I just think I just have a hard time justifying in my head taking a second running back in the NFL draft and just being content to be like, okay, no, you're just going to go to the practice squad, because it just feels weird to me. It feels weird to me that you could have gone a lot of other positions, but you choose to double down on a position that you really didn't need to double down on. So I'm going to say Mitchell, because also, I think we talked about a little bit too. Mitchell can do kick return. We talked about that on Monday as well. So like that's where he's going to fit in. And I mean, there could even be a world where they carry 6 running backs and just have Mitchell be a special teams guy, and have Gallman up. So I think the one for sure is going to be Hasty, and then Austin Walter too. But then after that, it's just I don't see it being possible that Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, like they're shoo-ins for the roster. I would say Trey Sermon is a shoo-in for the roster. And then after that, it's probably just a toss-up between Mitchell and Gallman. And yeah, we definitely got to shout out Alfredo Gutierrez.
Yep, absolutely. I'm very happy for him. Of Mexican and Nicaraguan descent, if I'm not mistaken, which, as a Hispanic myself, is great to see representation on the team, and I'm rooting for him, man. I hope he does really well. It was really cool when he got the call too, as well. Those are the type of things that people take for granted, and there's not really a lot of Mexican ball players on this team, and a lot of the fan base is of Mexican descent. So this is good, honestly, and it's not a signing to placate anybody. Apparently the kid can play. So yeah, man, I'm really happy for him.
Ryo, our friend Ryo asks,
oh, here we go.
Injuries happen in camp and preseason. Would Andrew be ready to sign with a quarterback needy team? And would Jason be ready to sign with a water boy needy team? Do you want to answer your side of it first?
I mean, honestly, I would probably be a water boy 3 on a team. I don't know if you're bringing me in as for depth, you're not going to bring me in to like plug me in right away as water boy. So, that one, it feels kind of fishy, honestly, with that one. I would question a team that would bring me in and say, hey, you're our day 1 water boy. I might have to sit a year. I think that would probably be best so I could learn the playbook.
I'm trying to answer Gustavo's question here with where did Alfredo play college ball at before I answer mine, and I don't think he did.
No, he didn't.
He did not. So there you go. Yeah. I retired. Like I'm not trying to pull a Brett Favre. I'm done. I've decided I'm done. I may consider trying out as a tight end in 4 years, as I said in my statement. If you want to see my statement, it's on my timeline. I'm going to try and focus on being a baseball player. But in 4 years, I could be talked into being a tight end.
There you
so
go.
That's my statement.
I like it.
And unless a team wants to cut me like a Patrick Mahomes deal, like give me that $500 million, we could talk. That's where the negotiations start for me. Okay. No lower.
$500 million.
Vinny's. Oh my God, I'm Italian. I should be able to say this name. Vinny Saglambeni. There we go. Got it. Nailed it. Pasquini. Pretty much should have just said that. What should the 49ers next move be this offseason, Jason?
Honestly, right now, probably just cornerback depth. Unfortunately, you saw Casey Hayward go, and wide receiver as well, too. Man, I'd love to see them bring in Golden Tate to solidify number 3. Like we love Austin Watkins, and I predicted that Austin Watkins would be the starter, in that KB role. But you would need some more depth over there. Golden Tate fits with the play style. He's gritty. He blocks. He dislikes Jalen Ramsey. There's a lot of things that can be used for Golden Tate. So I think I'm by myself now. So Golden Tate would be somebody that I'm bringing. I would want to say, just because of his physical play style and how well he fits his offense. Cornerback as well. Casey Hayward, that's disappointing, but with the draft picks, it might open the door right now for Richard Sherman to come back, which is something that's being discussed, and it's not a bad idea, especially when you talk about a mentor role and you talk about someone who has a little in the tank. The only thing that I really worry about with Sherman, and I'm kind of hesitant about, is whether DeMeco Ryans wants to run a lot of man, which unfortunately, even when Richard Sherman was all pro, all world Richard Sherman, that wasn't his strong suit. And now we're talking when he's got, he's up there in age and things like that. So, I would say cornerback and third receiver would probably be, some of those. So let's see. Let's take some questions while we wait for Andrew to come back. Kali, Jason, and Andrew, do you think Ambry Thomas can challenge Mosley for the quarterback 2 spot? Mosley was a little shaky down the stretch last season. Yeah, a little bit. Andrew's back. Yeah, he was. And I think that here's the thing, Kali, is with him is he can return kicks. And again, there's a big void in this team with that as well. And, I would like to see him get mentored by Sherm. And let's see, honestly, Mosley was a little shaky, but honestly, I can't really put it all on him because we weren't getting as much pressure. He was out there on islands, and it got a little hairy for him. So Mosley's solid, but let's see how he is when everybody's around too. Andrew, glad you're back, buddy.
I'm back. So to go back to Vince's question, great audible, by the way, taking a question from the chat. Look at QB1 in my heart. What should the next move for the 49ers be this offseason? Take a nap. I think they should just sleep. They probably haven't slept a lot lately. There's been a lot going on. Relax. Second, and I'm gonna get yelled at. Bring back Richard Sherman. I'm not when I say that, I am not saying Richard Sherman every down cornerback. I'm talking rotational guy. I'm not saying bring him back every game. Yeah, exactly. That's what I saw that. I'm that's going to be my answer too, because when I say bring back Richard Sherman, I'm not saying he is the 2013 version of himself, because we know that's not true. I think he can be fine in certain packages, certain situations, and I just love having Richard Sherman on my favorite football team. It's a selfish answer. I understand that. When I watch football, I want to watch guys I enjoy, and if those guys are on my favorite team, I love it even more. And I think having that veteran presence in the locker room, especially with the secondary, I just think it's good. That's mine. I don't think.
James brings up a good point. Justin Houston, Melvin Ingram, edge rushers. Those are great. Honestly, one more name that I saw that was floated out, and I didn't really think about it, honestly, until it was there. So I'm not going to act like it was my idea, and I want to give the person credit. At wide receiver 3 in the slot, here's a name, Dede Westbrook from Jacksonville. Okay, 24 years old. 24 years old. The Jaguars loved him. He's out there to be had. He can be had for nothing, honestly. Right now, a wide receiver 3 competition would consist of, let's just say we're going to take everybody on the roster: Jawan Jennings, Jalen Hurd, Richie James, Austin Watkins, River Craycraft. I would love to see Dede Westbrook get in there, honestly, because, he was highly touted when he came out for Jacksonville, and, he's a fast, shifty guy, man. Let's just see if the injuries have robbed him of what he has. So
I like the Chop Dukes. 3rd next year for Julio. Yeah, I do that all day. The Falcons, but I do it all day. I would love it. Yes. Sam also asked, are there any free agency move out there you'd like to see the Niners make to round out the roster? I think we answered that.
Yeah.
I think we got that. So Jim Burke at N4TD. Since the 49ers, we just kind of touched on this as well. Since the 49ers did not address edge in the draft, what does that say about the 49ers' confidence in D Ford being able to contribute this season? I feel pretty confident. They seem pretty confident.
So that's the thing, right? When everybody was yelling about wide receiver 3, right, and they didn't address in the draft, even though that they signed Austin Watkins, I think the first thing that John Lynch said was, I think we counting on Jalen Hurd. They believe that. So, whether that comes to fruition or not, they must have good information on both those guys. And they didn't address edge as they usually do in the draft, which was very surprising because they do that even when they're they have a bevy of players. So I think they really think that D Ford is going to contribute in some way. Also, they're counting on Nick Bosa coming back, Ibukam, and things like that. So they have a good rotation and a nice rotation of legs and stuff like that. So I think they are kind of confident in D Ford if I'm just reading the tea leaves with what they've been saying.
I feel pretty good about it. I really think they need to make him what was the term the Chiefs used with him? The Sunday player, whatever it was, where they just wouldn't practice him.
Yeah, no practice. Just get him up for the game.
Yeah, and I think that's something he's going to be a very situational edge rusher too, which is kind of what his role already was. He's not going to be down, he's not going to be in base packages. He's literally just going to be in pass rushing situations. And so if he can stay healthy, that'd be great. And I do think that the lack of edge rushers drafted kind of tells you what they think of where he is. So I don't know. I feel pretty good. And I'm always cautiously optimistic on these things. I lean more optimistic than not. So yeah, sure. Why not? Let's hope and think the Niners for sure are feeling good about D Ford.
Yeah.
You have last thoughts on that before we move to the next one?
No, we're good. We're moving along here.
We got a good amount of questions. So I just want to make sure we answer them, and maybe if we see a good one in the chat, we get those too. Zach Rowan, if I mispronounced that, I apologize. I am going to pick the one that intrigues me the most because he gave me a few. If Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy and wins the Super Bowl, what happens to him and Trey?
I don't think you can trade a quarterback who wins the Super Bowl.
If wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. That's what I would say. Yeah, man, it's a phenomenal question. It really is. And I think my answer, and I'm going to do a quick Google real quick with the contract situation here with one.
It's harder to get out. It's harder to get out of his contract next year. That's why all of this stuff had to happen this year. That's why you can't just outright cut him. June already gets all his money.
Well, so here's my thing. If Jimmy Garoppolo wins the Super Bowl in 2021, run it back with him, man. He's got 1 year left on his contract after that. You get a second, you have Trey Lance underneath, he's sitting behind him. You got him for at least 4 years. So, I mean, listen, if the situation happens where the 49ers win a Super Bowl and Jimmy Garoppolo is a large part of that, I mean, yes, that's a great point. Oh, Jason's raising his hand.
No, it's not. And
Jason's raising his hand.
No,
it's not. No, it's what.
No Super Bowl winning quarterback has ever been traded the next year. Stop.
Yes, Joe is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he was moved off of.
He didn't win it in '89, and they traded him in '90.
Yes, yeah, no, that's the situation we're talking about there. It's not obviously it's kind of the same, but it's different because yes, Joe Montana is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but it's not the year after a Super Bowl. That's all, Josh. We appreciate. Hey, that's my best friend. No, I know Josh. That's one of my best friends. Talk to him every day. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, I really think that's the answer. Is you probably if it does happen, you run him back one more year, and then his contract expires, and you go with Trey Lance from 2023 on.
Yeah,
I think that's the simple answer. I guess.
I mean, honestly, it would be unprecedented to trade a guy off of the year that he won a Super Bowl. Like if Brett Favre won a Super Bowl in Green Bay and they were just like, oh, let's move off him. That doesn't happen. It's not how that works, honestly. So if he wins, then he gets to stay another year, I think. Does that make the haul for him higher? Yes. But, the fan base isn't going to like moving off of a guy who led them to a Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think that if he wins, he's back. And rightfully so.
And Big Des makes a good point. If Jimmy Garoppolo wins the Super Bowl this year and then they keep him the next year, Trey Lance is going to jump in at the age of 22, which is pretty much what a rookie quarterback is. So like is what it is. Yep. Sprint. I'm going to say it. Sprint Right Option podcast legend Cynthia had a few questions for us. You want to go through these?
Yes. Go through them.
Why did Denver pass on Justin Fields?
I don't know.
I have an answer.
Do they think that they're getting Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you showed us how desperate you were to get a quarterback and you traded for Teddy Bridgewater, what on earth are you doing passing on Justin Fields? Go.
Yeah, to me, the thought of acquiring Aaron Rodgers would be enough to make me pass on Justin Fields at 9. I really do think that because then, I mean, unless you want to work a thing where, either A, you're sending Justin Fields to the Packers and a deal to get Aaron Rodgers, or B, you're comfortable with Aaron Rodgers starting and drafting Justin Fields at 9 and just kind of creating the situation with Jordan Love. I don't know. For me, the only reason I think it's possible is if they're really, 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 really convinced that they're getting Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's really what it is. And yeah, and I think they like Surtain more. And also,
Yeah, because I mean, getting a cornerback instead of a franchise quarterback is
That's
much more
too.
valuable and so smart.
That's true
Jesus.
too.
What are you doing, Denver?
That's true too. But then again, also I'm on the side of like John Elway should just stop drafting quarterbacks. So maybe.
I know why. Oh wait, now I know why. Can I have my hand up?
Yes.
I know why they didn't draft Justin Fields. He's not 6'7".
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh, boom.
Why would you not? Yeah, exactly. Come on, Brock Osweiler, greatest quarterback of all time. We all know that. And then Cynthia, another question. Would Denver be a possible trade partner for Jimmy Garoppolo later in the season? Kind of going back to the first question, is Aaron Rodgers their quarterback? Because if they're not, yeah, I could see it fully being a thing. Like if let's say the scenario happens where after the third preseason game, the Niners are like, you know what, this Trey Lance guy is pretty good. And Denver's like, this Drew Lock guy is not good at all. And we missed out on Aaron Rodgers. I could see it happening.
The reason that Denver's out of it is that you traded for a quarterback that's in his tier. You did. Jimmy and Teddy are in the same tier, and that's the thing.
Teddy.
Yeah, so it's like, man, I think that kind of takes him off the board because Teddy's similar. Even if I think that Jimmy's better, they're similar.
I forgot they had Teddy. That happened like, God, I'm so tired, dude. That happened a week ago, and I forgot it happened. Oh, man, what else happened today? Did I forget something already? Yeah. I changed my answer because I forgot Teddy Bridgewater existed, and I apologize, Teddy. I know you watched too with Debo. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they all get around together, and they watch our show.
And then Cynthia kind of dunking on Vish here. My last question, are the Bears fans overjoyed that Justin Fields rescued their team from having Andy Dalton as their starter? One of the greatest moments in
clubhouse history.
Here's
the double dunk by Cynthia. Here's the double dunk. Andy Dalton loses his job, and Justin Fields, who Vish wanted, is now going to have to be a Chicago Bear, and he's going to have to watch that man cook while he's in Chicago.
Vish loves to brag how much crap he talks to his Bears friends, and he's nervous. Cynthia dunked on him, caught the ball with her other hand, and then just dunked on him with the other hand. And I love it, Vish and Cynthia. We love you both. We say this in love.
Vish, I love you, buddy. I
love you, buddy. And Cynthia, obviously, you've been here since day one, and we obviously love you too.
For sure.
Vince with a very fun question.
Yep.
What's the best 49ers game you've seen in person?
All right. Can I go first or you going first?
You go ahead. I guarantee you your answer is better than mine.
Why is
guarantee that? It. Because I want to hear yours first.
Yeah, okay. Now I have to really think about this one, honestly. So, I've seen the all right, I know which one's the best one. Week 1, 2019 in Tampa. Okay. And that year going into it, I took the trip down there because I was just super jazzed, about getting away. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into that year. Like, we didn't know what it was. And I got to see your favorite quarterback in the world play. He threw 4 touchdowns, 2 to the 49ers and 2 to Tampa Bay Bucks players.
Yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo's first start, off of the ACL, the defense was swarming. Keller Weatherspoon had an interception. It was a beautiful day at the stadium. That's probably my favorite game. And a close second is the last year that Kaepernick was on the team. The 49ers were in MetLife Stadium against the Giants. Eli Manning threw 5 interceptions in that game, including the game clincher to Chris Borland. Yes, Chris Borland.
Legend Chris Borland.
49er legend Chris Borland. And Odell Beckham made an insane catch to put them really close to winning the game. And then literally Eli Manning threw a pick right to Chris Borland to end the game. Me in my gold jacket was one of the few 49er fans there. And the entire place went silent, and all you could hear is me saying, "Thanks, Eli. Thank you. Thank you." People were pretty pissed, but I had a blast, and I dislike the Giants for that. So it was fun.
Future Hall of Famer Eli Manning. Hall of Famer Eli Manning.
Sure, why not?
So the best 49ers game I've seen in person is the only 49ers game I've seen in person back in 2005. Which already can tell you where this story is going. I got to see the 49ers play the Indianapolis Colts when they had Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison. Actually, Manning and Harrison had a chance to break the record for most touchdown passes between a duo. And that record was held by Steve Young and Jerry Rice. So I got a unique opportunity to see that. They didn't do it. The final score was 27-3. I got to see Joe Nedney, which was pretty much the only reason to watch Niners back then. But it was also Alex Smith's first career start. So that's something kind of cool about that game that I didn't realize until a couple years ago. It was Alex Smith's first start. I was like in 7th grade. Yeah, I haven't been to a 49er game since. I've been to as many XFL games than I have NFL games.
Oh, wow.
So there's something like, I mean, I said it to you a couple weeks ago when we met. Hey, what's up, Jason? First time I'd ever seen first time I've ever seen Levi Stadium in person was when we went to it. So like, I've never seen the Niners play outside of a 2005 game against the Indianapolis Colts. And it wasn't great because that was a very good Colts team. And the Niners
And
were very
you left out the way we met. Like we didn't just cry in each other's arms for like 3 straight minutes the entire time.
Yeah,
like
we definitely, I got out of my car. Like I didn't even stop my car. I just jumped out of the car. The car was ghost riding a little bit. I hugged Jason.
The car just
so anyways,
right, the
best 49ers game I've seen in person was the one they lost 27-3. Rory asks, what does the wide receiver depth chart look like after Debo and Ayuk, and who returns kicks?
Good question. So I think we kind of talked about it. I alluded to it. I think that Austin Watkins has a chance to really be a contributor on this team. I think they expect to see Jalen Hurd. So, I mean, it's tough to say right now, man. Is Jalen Hurd going to be ready to go? Is that back thing an issue? Jawan Jennings, what's going on with him? Yeah. I don't know. You know, Kevin White's there. Yeah, Vish. Yeah, I do know Vish.
Mohamed Sanu.
Richie James. I hope Kyle's in here. Richie James, man. So, I mean, I think it gets a little hairy after that. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting training camp stories is about who exactly is separating themselves, because it seemed like Kendrick Bourne had that role locked down and there was no real competition. Now there's going to be an open competition depending on if, someone else is brought in. So I think it's going to be tough to call. And who returns kicks? Ambry Thomas or Elijah Mitchell. There, I'll go on a limb there.
Yeah, the 49ers depth chart probably is going to be Debo, Ayuk, and just a rotation until they find one. I hope Watkins would be cool. I definitely said something along the lines of Mohamed Sanu will replace Kendrick Bourne as the 49ers' best red zone option because I really liked Bourne in the red zone, and I think Sanu can do that. I think Sanu is a big body guy that the Niners could use in the red zone. You want to say something?
Yeah, you know what Sanu can replace? Wildcat.
Yeah, he can.
Sanu from the Wildcat? All right, now we're cooking.
Just fullback dives from just him using his size to run through the holes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kevin White exists. First round pick. You remember a couple of years ago when the Falcons were supposed to be good because their entire offense was compromised of first round picks. So I'm going to use that logic with Kevin White. Like he's a first round pick. He's still got talent. Like I really think the Niners have a lot of talent at the receiver position.
I'll say this, and Vish is going to agree with me. There are people on the 49ers team that believe Kevin White is the best wide receiver on this team. That's not my opinion, but those are people that play on the team that have told us that.
That's out there.
It is out there.
So yeah, I think they have a lot of talent. It just comes down to how Shanahan wants to utilize it. I mean, I can really see, like, if I know Kyle Shanahan, I'm sure he's very, very excited for the amount of receivers he have that are pretty good receivers. Like, this isn't a situation where they have like 6 guys and it's just like, well, we don't really know who it is. There's 6 guys that really you could see getting some snaps this season, from Watkins to Sanu to all the way down to River Craycraft. Craycraft got snaps last year, so you could see him getting some snaps this year too. I don't think that's too far out of the question. For the kick return part, man, I'm just going to say Richie James, just because in my brain he had that kick return against Seattle in 2018, and in my brain just keeps replaying that. So yeah, he's the best option. The last question we had on Twitter, and Jason, I'm not sure if you saw a question on the comments that you wanted to take, from Tony Nagatani. He asked, do you think the 49ers reach for Trey Sermon? How were Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, and Michael Carter better than Sermon? Would any of those guys have been better in Shanahan's system than Sermon will be?
I beat the table for Javonte Williams, but if you believe what you believe about Kyle Shanahan and what he can get out of undrafted free agents, then Trey Sermon's going to be fine. I didn't really see it in the beginning. I selfishly wanted Javonte, Michael Carter. I never thought that they really had a shot at Etienne. It was the worst kept secret that the Steelers were going to take Najee Harris. That was the most Steelers pick of the entire draft. So it always felt like it was going to be one of those guys. But, honestly, I wouldn't say that any of them are better. I think it's just how the board fell and they ended up with Trey Sermon, which, I don't think they reached, honestly. I think the guy had 330 yards against Northwestern or something like that. Like the kid, when I was posting his clips, you see him running people over and, he looks like Frank Gore, man. Like he just keeps his feet and you just wonder how he's just not getting tackled. And honestly, I'm not trying to compare him to Frank Gore because Frank Gore is still playing football to this day. But I'm just saying, when you watch him, he kind of reminds you of a Frank Gore type. And I could see the fit. Absolutely.
Yeah. For me, man, like my big thing is I don't like trading up for running backs in general. Like I'm in the boat of like running backs are weird and like you don't really need a great one to be good anymore. Like that's just kind of what it is now. But listen, my faith in Kyle Shanahan is if he identified a guy that he thinks can absolutely like what would each of you, I don't know what that means, Josh. Stop it.
Wait,
I love Josh.
What, one win?
Just one win or like a Super Bowl win? Come on, Josh.
Or a Super Bowl? You don't want to know what I'd give up for a Super Bowl win.
Back to my point. Josh threw me off a little bit. Is if Kyle Shanahan recognizes a guy that he's like, yeah, we need to go and get this guy, then I'm just going to fully trust him. I'm going to fully trust him, and just let him cook. Just let him cook with the guys he wants. And if he can get that talent out of a undrafted free agent, then he can get that talent out of a drafted guy. And Josh did say, what would you each of you give up for a Super Bowl win?
My ring finger. Don't need it.
You just broke me. Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't expect that to be your answer. What would I give up for a 49ers Super Bowl win? Oh, that's a good question. I've never
This
thought
is a
about
better
this.
answer. This is the better answer.
Yeah, I don't have a wife yet, so I can't give that up. I would comfortably give up my PlayStation 5.
Wow, that's
I'll say that. That's a good question, Josh. I haven't thought about that. Jason, I had a question for you that I forgot that I wanted to wrap up with. Oh, yeah. Can you articulate in smarter terminology as to why it would be a good idea to bring Sherman back? Just to I have a friend who backs me up and supports me when I say things like that.
Yeah. So when you walked out real quick, I was talking about it. So, again, it really all depends on what DeMeco Ryans is trying to do. I think that he's going to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to being man-to-man. So you're right. Richard Sherman would be a situational guy. Mm-hmm. What he will bring is you've got two cornerbacks that could use the tutelage of the smartest cornerback that I've ever seen play the game, besides Deion Sanders. Honestly, I think it would be more of a mentor role, but knowing Sherm's not just going to come here to play that role. He's going to want to play, but that would be it. Honestly, familiarity with the system and being able to teach the younger guys, especially the guys that are I guess built like him, a little bit more. But it would be for leadership, I would say, for sure. And it would be for situational things. He would have to play a lot more safety. He wouldn't be able to play in man coverage. Those are things that makes him a situational, rotational guy. But I think what he would bring to the locker room is invaluable.
Do you think that because I don't mean to make this about Sherman at this point, but do you think, because he said a lot of things kind of during the season where it's just like, yeah, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. And now all of a sudden the tone's changed. Do you think that's more of teams aren't interested in him? Or do you think it's more like, yo, this Niner team's going to be good again. I'm going to get another shot at a ring.
Well, my thing is good. No, you got it.
Do you think it could just be a combination of both?
No, I think that it's the press market, and also I don't think when Sherman was making those comments, he was like, they got to pay Trent, they got to pay Verrett, they got to pay this guy, all that stuff's done. And there's still money to be had around, So, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think he anticipated that. I don't think any of us anticipated everybody coming back like that. I think we kind of waved goodbye to a bunch of people that made it back. The only people that they weren't able to retain were like Kerry Hyder and a few others. But for the most part, this team was able to bring everybody back and still have money left over. So I think situations change, and Sherman's seen the landscape and he understands the business, and he knows that, this is a viable option for him if he's wanted back. And as long as the compensation's right, I wouldn't see why not.
Perfect. Jason, I don't have any more questions for you. I don't know if you have questions for me, but if you don't, that's okay.
I think we're good. Yeah.
I just wanted you to back me up and be, because like whenever I feel like whenever I tweet about the Niners bringing back Sherman, I just get people being like, no, that's a bad idea. And I'm just like, no, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't think I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they need Sherman.
No, it's a solid idea, but you have to remember the context is what's important. Like you said, like when you were talking about bringing Sherman back, it's not, hey, quarterback one, put him back out there, run it back, all that shit. That's not, no. But you have to, but you have to give the context.
You can't sit there and say he wouldn't be a valuable piece of this team, whether on the field or off, because I think he will be. I really do. I think he's one of the smartest guys in the league, and I think every team can use a guy like that. So, of
course.
All right. Well, that's my sales pitch, Richard Sherman. Know you're watching too. Sign with the Niners. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And change your name. Change your number to a single digit number.
Yeah. Extra piss people off. Change it to a single digit. He should change it to 15.
Wow. No, Jawan Jennings took 15.
Oh, Jawan. Oh, do you know how great of a move it would be?
Left.
Do you know how great of a move it would be for Richard Sherman to not own? Let's just take Crabtree's number.
What did he wear? What did he wear in Stanford? 6?
6? I feel like that's what he wore. Richard Sherman Stanford.
Number.
It's spelled Richard Sherman. 9.
9. There you go.
They say numbers don't lie. Is that a 6 or a 9?
I mean, oh wow. I mean, look,
how do you like that?
Look, Robbie Gold, come up off that 9.
Come off. Yeah, if Robbie Gold if Richard Sherman. Oh my God, can Robbie Gold wear 25?
What?
I want my kicker wearing number 25. Can kickers wear the height? Were the kickers the protected numbers? Were they like they can't go any higher than 9?
I have no idea. Kickers shouldn't have numbers. They should have a K. They should just have a K. They don't deserve a number. They get K.
That actually, and you know what? All kickers should be 00.
Oh,
because 00 looks really good. Let's see here. The rule expanded available numbers: running backs to include 1 through 19 and 80 through 89, receivers 1 through 9, 20 through 49, tight ends 1 to 39, linebackers 1 to 39, defensive backs 1 through 19. Kickers and punters cannot go higher than. Oh my God, can we unretire 16?
16. All right. Goal. And that's the latest episode of the Sprint Right Option podcast.
Yeah, so that's it. Kickers cannot wear the number 25, unfortunately. That's gonna be it. Richard Sherman wear number 9. That'd be pretty cool. I am Andrew Pasquini. We really came off the rails at the end here.
Yeah, we did.
Really came off the rails. That's okay. I enjoy it when we do. Guys, we appreciate you listening. I feel like we haven't plugged our socials in a while. They're on the screen at Pasquini Andrew, at Jason Aponte 2103. If you're on YouTube and haven't clicked that subscribe button, click that subscribe button because Jason Aponte loves it. He texts me every day when a new person subscribes. Like he just texts me the number, and it's cool because it's the only time my phone goes off every day. It's real nice. I like it.
No, it's not, liar.
And if you are listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, go click the subscribe button, download, undownload, then re-download again. Also, that's
leave a review. The review helps us get in front of the algorithm. So if you leave a review with 5 stars about what you like about the show, it'll give us front page, on Apple, on Spotify, and things like that. So, subscribe, leave a review, and thank you guys for rocking with us. Honestly, man, it's a lot of fun to see the same faces in our comments and the people. Somebody tweeted today. Where the 49ers podcast that I can go find. Who should I? So thank you to everybody who mentioned us and talked about our podcast. I mean, you'll never understand how much that means to us. And, for us to be in our first year of doing this and have all of you guys rocking with us, man, we can never explain to you what it means, honestly.
Yeah, man, it's, I mean, I texted you the other day, man, it's crazy that we started this thing with like 3 people the first episode. And now we get all this interaction. Like it was kind of overwhelming with the amount of questions we got today. It was really, really cool, and we love you guys. Jason, do you want to hear good news?
Let's go for it. There's a man on first, and Giancarlo Stanton's up again, ready to win the game against the Astros. That's good news for me.
Wait, is that a doubleheader, or is it?
Nope, it's the seventh inning right now.
Oh, it's seventh. I was going to say I saw it was the seventh inning, but I thought maybe maybe it was a doubleheader. No, schedule out next week. That's something to talk about.
Yes, sir.
We
I think we should do a live schedule show.
We could find the exact order the Niners play their games in next year, which, I guess is important. We know who they play. It just comes down to order. Yeah.
It's important for jet setting and figuring out what games we're going to go hit up. And honestly, then we can really get down to predictions. Yeah. Because then you can really start to see what's the depth stretches and things like that. I'm excited, and for the people that have been sending me the floating schedule that's out there, that's not real. What that is that's a Mike Clay table of him putting together the opponents and talking about strength of schedule as far as those teams. That's not the order. There's no week 5 bye. Everybody calm down. Don't lose your minds.
Oh man, week 5 buys. I think the NFL, okay, I got a really hot take, and I know we should be wrapping up.
Yes.
I just think the NFL should have a universal bye week in the middle of the season.
They should have a second one because they added a
yes. Well, obviously that too, but I hate the fact that some teams get scammed in a week 5 bye and some teams get a week 13 bye, which just feels off. Just give us 1 week. Everybody gets to breathe. We all get to be friends and then continue the season. Give everybody 1 bye week at the same time and then throw a second one. Let the players rest.
Are you trying to tell me that during the season when I'm all ramped up for Sundays that there's going to be a full Sunday where there's no football?
World Series. During the World Series. So then you at least get your Yankee Giants game.
Thanks. I hate it.
No, what would be cool is universal bye week, but Red Zone chooses a classic episode of NFL Red Zone to run, and everybody watches that.
We completely came off the rails in this episode.
We completely came off. And you remember 10 minutes ago when I was signing off, hey, that's it today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I just kind of rambled. We're gonna end it here. Hey, Jason, as always,
let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.